Okay, we've talked about how to find a derivative, and now we're going to discuss how to do those on your calculator. And so again, I'm going to talk about two different ways to use your calculator depending on which version you have. Alright, so let's just kind of back up for a second and let's talk about what the derivative is again. Alright, so if this is my function, and I say find the derivative of my function at the point 2 comma 6. So what am I asking you to do is go over to 2, go up to 6, just pretend that there's a point there, and I want to know the slope of the tangent line. So I'm looking for the slope of your tangent line. Well, instead of having to graph the function, figure out this point, figure out some y values, and estimate the slope, I'm going to let my calculator do all the work for me and give me the exact answer. Now, the newer version when you type in the correct button, I'm going to tell you in a few minutes, yours is going to look exactly the way it looks in the books. So it's going to give you something like this, and what you're going to do is you're going to put in the correct variable here, which would be x for all of our problems on the calculator. If we're doing these on paper, we would pick the variable with respect to t or respect to x or with respect to anything. And then in here you're going to put in your function, and then they're going to have a slash already for you, and it's going to say x equals, and then right in this spot you need to tell the calculator at what x value do you want the calculator to find the derivative for you. So you're going to have to put in that value. Okay, now the older versions, I'm going to show you where it's at, but you're going to have to hit the n derive, which means n derivative, and then it's going to give you a left parenthesis. You're going to have to type in the function correctly, and you're going to have to remember to put the comma, and then you have to put the letter x and put the comma, and then put the number that the x value is needed, or sorry, put the number that they are asking for in regards to x. So if they say at the point x equals 2, then you'd have to put a 2 here. So let's practice these. First thing is saying, find the derivative at a given point. Okay, we don't know how to do this by hand yet. Okay, we haven't learned that. It's in a future lesson. But if you wanted to do it by hand, it would be long and tedious. And then once you've found the derivative function, you'd have to plug a 1 into that function. And so that's why we're letting the calculator do the work for us. This one, however, we can do this one by hand. We know how to take the derivative of 4 cosine x minus 3. So we could do this by hand just as easily. And then we would plug a 0 in for all my x's. We're going to let the calculator do this. So let me switch modes here real quick. Alright, so this is the updated version. So what we're going to do, there's several ways you can get to this. Okay, you can always hit math and then arrow down where it says n derive. Alright, that's where the older version is going to get to it. But there's a shortcut for these newer versions. If you hit the green button, green, alpha, and then all these other buttons up here, remember those are all your shortcut buttons. So I'm going to hit alpha, window, and the n derive is a number 3. So this is what it's going to look like. So we're going to do that problem from our notes. We need to tell the calculator what variable we're using, and we're always going to use x, so put your x there. And it jumps you right over here. We need to plug in our function. Our function is left parenthesis 3x plus 2 right parenthesis, raise it up to the power of 3. And then I'm going to come over here to the end. I want to figure out the derivative of that curved function at the specific point of x value of 1. There's my answer. They found the derivative for me. All right, let me switch over, and I want to do, actually, you know what? I'm going to stay right here. I'm going to do the new version, both examples 1 and 2. So let's do the next one. So I'm going to hit alpha, window, and I'm going to pick function 3. Put in my variable x. My function now is 4 cosine. Remember, as soon as I hit cosine, it gives me a left parenthesis. I just want to do cosine x, close that parenthesis, and then minus 3. So I want the calculator to figure out the derivative of that function at the x value of 0. So the derivative would be 0. Okay, let's go back and let's change my mode. Now I'm going to talk about the older version. I'm going to get my calculator to do your mode now. Classic mode. Okay, so how you're going to get to these is you're going to hit math. And you're going to have to arrow down. And if you just remember, it's always number 8. That might make it easier. And it looks like this now. So now you have to type in that original function. But because there's a lot of stuff going on, we have to put everything in one big, huge set of parentheses. And since our first problem here has the original function in parentheses, you have to start another set of parentheses. So type in 3x plus 2. Right parenthesis, raise it up to a power of 3. Yep. Okay, now this is where you need to pay close attention. Now you're going to have to remember to put the comma. The comma is above the 7. And then you have to put the letter x, comma again, and then put in the function that you're asking about. You were saying at the x value of 1. So let me explain this. You're saying take the derivative of this function with respect to x using the x value of 1. And you get the same answer we got a few minutes ago. Okay, let's go ahead and do example 2 using this mode of our calculator. So I'm going to hit math. Remember, it's number 8, math 8. I'm going to type in my function. My function is 4 cosine x, close the parenthesis, minus 3, comma, x variable, comma, and I'm asking the calculator to find the derivative at the point 0. Okay, so let's go back to the notes.